We're going to look at how we write text files in Python. Similar to reading a file, we need to open the file, and in this case we then write to it and then we close the file. So we need to go through those 3 steps. There are a couple of ways of doing this. We're going to start with the most straightforward way of doing this. To start, we open up our file for writing. It's very similar to reading. So we're going to write the days of the week to a file. Except the main thing that's different now is our access specifier now is a W. So W stands for write. If this file doesn't exist, it'll create it. If it does exist, it will completely overwrite the contents of that file. So the bottom right hand side here, I've created a file already, but it's empty, it has nothing in there. So what it's going to do is it's going to basically completely overwrite the contents of that. Even though there's nothing in there, it will just simply add the values that we're going to add to it shortly. And then we're going to use a write method, file.write, and we're going to add the days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, and finally file.write Wednesday. We'll just leave it like there for now. So the file here, this is our file object, so that's what we're writing to. So that's the file object we're writing to, which has been set up with the days.txt as the file that we're actually writing to. After we've written to our file, we then close it, file.close. So let's save it and run it and see what happens. So we've done that, it's worked all good. Now if we update our file, which we want to do, you will see it's written to the file, which is great, but you can see it's put everything on a single line. It's probably not how we want to do it. Probably want to put each of those days of the week on a different line. So what we can do is we can add the new line character at the end of the string to indicate that we want to add a new line again. So we can save that and then run it. And now if we see how it's updated, it's actually put those on different lines. So that's one method of writing. An alternative method is to use write lines. So let's make a start by creating a list. That's what we need to do. We need to create a list to start with. So we're going to create the list of call it days, and it's going to just simply have the days of the week in there again. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Again, you can add the other days of the week to how you wish. And we use write lines, and we just write the list there, and that's the code for that. So let's run it. And again, what you'll notice when we update this is again it's all on one line and things need to go onto the new line. So each of the elements need to be on a separate line in our case. Again, what we can do is we can put a \n on the end of each line, which is fine, which will work, and I'll show you how it works now. \n there after Wednesday. So that's fine, and when we run it, you'll see that everything now is on a different line, which is what we wanted. But the problem is getting that end of line character into the list is a bit tricky. So there is a way around this. So what we can do, well, let's just remove these to start with again, and get that working. So we have our days, and then what we want to do if we want to get each of the elements on a different line is to add a new line character to the end of each element. There is a way of doing this. It's slightly convoluted, but it is a fairly standard procedure. So the first thing we do is to create a new list. So we're going to call it new days. And basically we're going to append each of the elements, but with a new line character to the new days list. For that we need to have a for loop for I in days. And then we do new underscore days dot append. and then the value of the element plus, so we're going to append a concatenated string with the new line character, and then when we write lines we do new underscore days, and we run that, and that's worked for us. And we'll just update our text file, and you can see there it's updated that with the new line character. So each of those days of the week now are on different lines. So those lines 4, 5 and 6 is a standard approach to adding a new line character to each of the elements in a list, and then using the write lines method to write to the text file. The limitation of writing to files is that if the file already exists, it overwrites all the contents of the file, which sometimes we don't want to happen. Sometimes we want to append or add extra information to a file that already exists. In that situation, we use the different access specifier and use A in this case. A means append, and what we can do is if we change these days to the other days of the week, so we'll do Thursday, Friday and Saturday. Friday, Saturday. And when we run this program now, those days will be added to our file. So you can see that now. Those 3 days, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, have been appended to that file.